Welcome to itdesk.tv. Welcome to itdesk.tv. Well, today we're going to be looking at C programming language again. We're going to be going through some basic functionalities. This time, we're just going to be showing you how to ask a user for an integer and how to accept the integer from the user. These are whole numbers. We're also going to be showing you how to ask for a floating point number, which is like a decimal number, and how you accept it and store it in a variable. Here we go. So we're just going to go ahead. If you look at the screen, we're going to call this int. We're going to call this integer number. We're going to create a float, and we're going to call this one float number. So we've just created the variables. We're going to do a printf function, which is we're going to ask the user, please enter an integer. So now that we've asked, we're going to use the scanf function and say scanf. Going to say %d, that's how we ask for it, comma. And then we're going to use the ampersand and store it into the integer number. Now what happens here is on this line printf, we ask the user for the integer. Whatever the user enters on the screen, we're going to directly place it into the integer variable that we already created up here. We're going to do this again, and we're going to ask for printf. We're going to ask the user, please enter a float. And this is just a variable type. We call them float. And then we're going to say scanf. We're going to say %f. That's what we use for float. We're going to say ampersand, and we use the float number. The same way we did it for the integer variable is the same way we're going to do it here. So we ask and then we receive. So this is the variable. Whatever the user typed, it's going to be stored in here. We're not putting any error handlers on here or anything yet. We're just given basic programming. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to printf, and we're going to display the numbers entered are. We're going to put numbers entered are, and we're just going to put %d and %f here, and then we put integer number, that was the first one, and then float number. So here, after you've entered everything, then we're going to just simply display. We're just going to display to the screen both numbers entered. I'm a little bit rusty with the C language, but this looks good, like it should work. So let's give it the first one. Let's give it the integer is 50, a whole number. Please enter a float. I'm going to say 45.97. The numbers entered are 50 and 45.97000, whatever. So that's a floating point. You probably have to clean that up. And there's always there's also a function you can use to trim, to make the float only 2 decimal places. But you get the whole idea. Alright? And that's how we do it. I think when you want to, because it displayed with 45.9, I could round this down by putting a 2 here, right before the F, where the float is, and do it again. So let's let it again. 50, 45.95286.7, 45.95. It only rounds it to 2 decimal places, and that's how we do it. Always remember, programming comes down to practice, and you have to practice. And onlinegbd.com is an excellent way to practice. itdesk.tv. unlocking doors.